Hello, space friends. I'm CCP Guard, captain of the Friendship, and you are watching 07, the EVE Online show. Tonight, we're going to fit some deadly ships for you. We're going to talk to players doing really cool things, and then CCP Fozzie and CCP Bettik are going to be here to talk about upcoming features for EVE Online. But our EVE Online turned 12 yesterday, so we're here to celebrate. And to celebrate with us, we have CCP Hellmar, CEO, and CCP Seagull, executive producer for EVE. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to have you on. This was quite a milestone for EVE, and a lot of things have happened in the years since. I have this amazing diary entry from Major Gormer, who was essential in getting EVE going on the first day. This is from 1 year and 1 day ago. So he says, "EVE is in the air. I was the first one to log in. He 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 he. Me number one. And after a few problems in the startup, all seems to be okay. I may go home now for a little sleep. If there are any problems, call me, but try to delay it until tonight." I'm guessing he didn't get to sleep in, but you know, there was a lot of things happening back in those days.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to read those diary events or entries back in time. Actually, we had this kind of culture of everyone wrote each day what they did. So we have kind of, I think, first 6 years of CCP are all, like every employee has a kind of a diary entry like that. It's going to be good when we make a book about all this at some point in time.
Yeah, they're fun to read.
Yeah, but I was actually just, which I do every birthday, like reading my diary entries and sort of reminiscing about that, that day, and kind of always wishing that we would have recorded it a little better. It's kind of accidental that we have these entries, but we should have done like a video blog or something, just capturing the moment. If we would have known what we were about to set in motion back then, and for sure we did. But I mean, we had such modest aspirations for EVE. We could have never conceived what it sort of became. I was kind of just actually talking to Major Gormer earlier today, and we were kind of reminiscing about like how we can still remember the build numbers, like the Goldmaster CD we did the month before had built like 934. Then we did like build 1000 was the last build. Then we had the hotfix 2 hours later, 1001. First proper patch was like 1006. So it's like strange how these kind of minute details kind of stick in your head.
Yeah. All these years later.
Yeah.
How long did it take to build EVE back then, the software package?
It took almost no time at all. The client was about 400 megabytes because it needed to fit on a CD.
Of course.
DVDs were yet not invented, I think. So it needed to fit on a CD. So we had some space to grow into a CD. So I think it was 400 meg. So doing a build was quite quick. Sometimes even too quick. I remember there was a guy who did like a joke in the last build where he put in like a Jovian CD code into the build. And I remember seeing this. It was like, how is this funny, people?
What was it? Was it just as a joke, or was it supposed to do anything? Or
yeah, let's just call it a joke. No.
Yeah. Let's do that. It must have been a hectic time back at the studio. I have this diary entry, or a snippet of a diary entry. It's kind of the end of it. There was a long diary entry for you for the first day of EVE. And it says, fell asleep in the middle of an argument. Now that's a hint, taking it and going home. Sounds like you had a lot to do that day. Yeah,
well, I mean, I think we were basically all that year, we were kind of in, like, the crunch turned into a death march. So we had been working sort of 80 to 100 hours a week for 5 months straight. So we were, like, borderline insane at that point in time. And the last stages of the beta, we ran like what was called an Armageddon event, where we sort of freely gave everyone ships and battleships and crazy stuff that nobody had seen. And everyone was kind of duking it out, and their servers were screaming bloody murder. Servers at the time were powered by Pentium 3 processors, to give you an idea. And they were like crashing every half an hour, so we were like, Jesus Christ, how we're going to get through the release. But we had like, the release build was a little different than the beta build, so it was more stable. So we were kind of hopeful that it would go smoothly. And I remember when we switched to the release build and opened up the server, it was about 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then, like the day before, we had tens of thousands of people hammering the servers.
Yeah.
But then nobody came. And we were like, what's wrong? Why is nobody coming? There were like 10,000 people here 2 days ago. And then like one person comes, and 2. And like, whoop, and we're up to 10. But why is it taking so long? Then somebody sent to the email list allir, which means everybody, which was everybody at CCP at the time, about 30 people. And they had taken a picture of a queue by the most prominent computer game store in Iceland.
Yeah.
So then we figured out, okay, everyone was in a queue to pick up the box, to take it home, to install it, to go through the patching process, to get into the game. So then it was kind of a sigh of relief, because, okay, now we have to go through all the box distribution process, so we'll have a few extra days to stabilize the servers.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't the same instant delivery as we have
no, it wasn't the same
no.
instant delivery, which we even had during the beta.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was kind of a ridiculous proposition to have the game digital only back in 2003.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, which is kind of the reverse today. It's kind of ridiculous not to have digital delivery.
Yeah.
But so the box distribution kind of latency kind of helped us a bit to reinforce the servers.
That's good. So, Seagull, you joined EVE a few years back. Do you remember when you first heard about EVE, and like, did you ever think you'd be in charge of developing it?
Well, no, I didn't think that for sure. I think I first came into contact with EVE when a person that I met was actually part of ISD. And was really proud to be part of that program, and it came, this extremely serious air came off of this game, and that was the first time I encountered it actually, through one of the volunteers. And then over the years I was aware of EVE in various contexts, and then I came on to work at CCP. Tyrannus was the first expansion to EVE when I was here. And I think, I mean, even that's about 5 years ago now, and each year seems to go really fast. And at the same time, I look back at how dramatically different the game is now from then. And of course, with this increased release cadence we have now, it feels like time is going even faster. Somehow it feels like yesterday that we announced the release cadence, but that's already like another FanFest has happened since then, and now we've done pretty much a full year of this, and yeah, it's just, time is just disappearing in a quite good way, I think, because we keep putting stuff out that I'm really proud of.
And it's a very interesting time for EVE, and a lot of things are happening. So, I mean, it feels like a bit of a crossroads in many respects with the features that we're putting out in the coming months.
I mean, for me, we're finally getting to some of the really core systems that we wanted to tackle in the game. And we set out this pretty ambitious roadmap quite a few FanFests ago now, and we've been working on it ever since. And now we're really coming up to some of these big features like sovereignty system, for example, and so on. And I'm just really excited to be able to deliver on some of these things.
It's going to be fun to talk about some of the things coming with Fozzie and Bettik later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Hellmar, do you think we'll be here in another 12 years reading diary entries and reminiscing on this day?
Yeah, well, I mean, we certainly have better ways to capture what's going on now. Yeah. I mean, you guys are on TV almost all the time, sort of capturing all of it. Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, everything I've seen in these 12 years, I think we have to seriously fuck things up if we're not here 12 years from now. Yeah. And I think it's on us to continue the excellent stride that Andy and the team are on. And it's often like when I go back to those times when we had a 400 megabyte client on a little CT, like I think 3 graphic engines ago, 2 major content rehauls ago, and now we have this excellent fast-paced development time, which is kind of remaking the game probably for the 3rd time. Yeah. Then it's kind of you kind of have to remind yourself that Eve, in many ways, is a new game. Even though the world is 12 years old and all the legacy and all the history and all that, then, I mean, often I think we maybe position Eve incorrectly in our minds. It's basically a new game. We're making it anew every single time. Every single bit within it has been changed. And it's really just a brand new game. But it builds on this amazing legacy that the players have created with us, which is all the histories, all the backstabbing, all the victories, all the amazing moments that have happened during those 12 years.
I especially think of some of the relentless work that our art and graphics teams have done to just modernize and update, especially the ships. If I look at some of the stuff that's live now on Singularity, our test server, it's just, I mean, if you compare this to just like a year ago, before we released these latest shader updates and so on, and now the second wave of changes built on top of those is coming, and you just look at comparison pictures side by side, and it's just like, it looks so much better. It really feels new to me, and that makes me want to log in and kind of touch my spaceships.
Yeah, it's really good to go back and just kind of take in all the changes, compare, you know, and reminisce.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of our job is to both believe in the future of Eve, and at the same time never take it for granted. Just keep doing really hard work to make Eve Online the best it can be.
So great words, and I'm gonna let you guys go, and we're gonna be back with CCP Rise to fit some deadly ships. But first, let's take a look at this. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Gisti.
Gisti.
Gusti. Gusti.
Giste.
Rau. Gisti. 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 Gisti.
Gisti.
Gisti.
Gisti. Asimu. Ashimu.
Ashimu. Ashimu. Ashimu.
Ashimu.
Ashemu.
Ashimu.
Aeon.
Aeon. Who made this picture?
Aeon.
Ion. Aeon. Gnis.
Silent G. So, nice.
Gnis. Really?
Nice.
Gnes.
Gnis.
Nice!
Does it fit with CCP Rise? Welcome to the show.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
So this is sort of a space cooking show where we're gonna cook up a deadly fit that can hardly be beaten.
Yes.
So what do you have for us today?
All right. So today, doing something a little different than we've done in the past. I actually wanted to do this back around the time of This Is Eve, because we had a lot of new players coming into the game. But someone from the community named Suetonia, who's a Alliance tournament pilot, really good solo PvPer, put together a really extensive guide on how to take advantage of new players for PvP. So he has a Kestrel fit, so we're going to talk about a Kestrel. And I'm kind of just going to copy what he said because I think it's really smart. And then you guys can go check out the detailed guide if you want afterwards, which I highly recommend.
Okay, so let's get started. What do you have? You have something in the rig slots.
Yeah. Well, okay, first let's talk about the bonuses.
Okay, let's talk about bonuses.
Just real quick, the two bonuses on the Kestrel, one is for light missile rocket damage, so just more damage. And the other one's a 10% per level bonus to light missile and rocket max velocity, which just means with missiles we get more range.
More range.
Which means we can do a good job kiting other frigates, and that makes it really simple to fly. Okay, so yes, as far as the fit goes, we have some rigs already fit because I couldn't figure out how to spawn them on TQ, and I didn't want to mess around and get in trouble, so I've just got those fit on there already. We'll talk about those in a sec, but for the main part of the fit, it's actually pretty straightforward. This is just going to be a rocket brawling ship. So we're going to start with some rocket launcher 2s. I accidentally grabbed the ballistic control 2, and I'm getting convo invites, of course. Okay. Where are they going? There they are.
There they are.
All right, so a full set of rocket launcher 2s up top.
All right.
Pretty straightforward. That gives us a lot of extra fitting room versus light missile launchers that we can use for the rest of our slots. I guess I'll go to lows next since I already put the ballistic control in there just to get us some more damage.
Yeah.
And then a damage control with that new icon that I know all of you guys love so much. And then for the mid slots, we're going to do kind of like a scram web kiting frigate. So we're going to try and control range a lot with both a scram and a web.
Okay.
Shut off those micro warp drives and slow them down. And then we're going to put a micro warp drive so that we can catch things.
Sounds nice. So you can control range and you don't have to worry about range too much yourself. Sounds like a nice.
Exactly. Yeah. And with the velocity bonus, you have a lot of space to figure out. Like you can take advantage of. You have a bunch of space. You can even outrange a lot of other rocket ships.
Yeah.
And then lastly, some tank from that medium shield extender. This is a Azeotropic, the like lower meta one that's easier to fit. And actually across the board, other than the rocket launcher 2s, this fit is low meta, so it's both cheap and it's easier on your skill points. You can see I have a lot of fitting room left because I have max skills.
Yeah.
But if this fit will actually work on a 2 million skill point character. If you're really low skill points, which I've considered kind of you are for this fit, we have ancillary current router in the rig slot to give you a little more power grid, and then a core defense field extender for some more shield HP, and a small loading bay accelerator for some extra DPS.
Okay, so a good ship to fit for all your minions before you send them out to do your bidding.
Yes, very, very good for that, and really good
if
you're a new player on your own and you want to go just by yourself or with a friend. This works perfect.
Okay.
And then just quickly to talk about ammo, Rage rockets work fine. You can grab explosive Nova rockets or the Mjolnir EM rockets for shooting against shield ships.
Yeah.
Either one works great. And that's pretty much it. It's really straightforward. This thing can fight pretty much any Tech 1 frigate. It'll lose to other people who are good sometimes, but it's not bad. You guys are the best. I like you all so much.
Everybody trying to get on the 07 show.
You just need to find someone by themselves. Try to orbit around 6 or 7K.
Yeah.
You'll be pretty cap stable. You don't care about cap too much anyway because all you're doing is running your rockets. Just put a scram and a web on them and you should be all right.
Sounds like a nice fit to fly, and you can just relax and kill everybody.
Yeah,
which is pretty much what CCP Fozzie and CCP Bettik are going to be doing at the end of the show when they're going to take out a couple of these bad boys into Kurmonen in Amar space.
Nice.
That's Kurmonen. Just so you can run away.
I highly recommend checking out that guide on YouTube. Just look for low skill point Suetonia PvP something and you'll find it. It's a Kestrel guide and it'll pop up there. And he goes through how to find targets, what ships are good for you to fight, a whole bunch of analysis like that. It's really good.
But we talked with the people at the Cap Staple podcast and we're going to go to see what they had to say. So let's go to that. Thank you for coming on. It was great.
Yeah, good to talk to you.
Yeah. Welcome to the 07 show, gentlemen. Who are you?
I am Link Therasanzo, co-host and writer of the Cap Stable podcast. I currently fly with my corporation, Alea Actes Universal, AIU for short, and we are currently part of the Brave Collective.
And I'm Kudu Timberline. I also am a co-host for the Cap Stable podcast. I also fly with AIU.
And you guys, obviously known for being on the Cap Stable podcast. How long has that been running and what's it all about?
The show's been around pretty much like about off and on about 3.5 years. The original iteration of the show had 12 episodes and then kind of went dormant. The folks who incorporated, because we have an experience doing podcasts, decided to go ahead and reactivate it and kind of retool it a little bit, reformat it, make it not so much so insular, but actually turn it more of a community resource.
We've been doing it now for a little over 2 years. We keep saying we're going to have our big party. But yeah, things are going strong. We put a lot of content out.
We haven't talked to anyone running a podcast on the 07 show before. So tell us, what are the benefits and challenges of running a podcast for the EVE community? And how has it kind of affected your EVE experience?
It's affected us actually quite greatly. So some of the kind of like the challenges in curating a show is basically staying current. Depending on what particular segment of the community you're covering, whether it be PvP, whether it be wormholes, because the audience is very segmented. You need to find kind of a broad base of appeal, and you actually have to stay very, very relevant.
That's kind of my deal. I'm not so much into the forums and whatnot, but yeah, I love the Twitters.
Yeah, I find spending a lot of my spare time just thinking about Eve and more Eve and more Eve, and it's like I'm sitting there having lunch. I'm like, how could I incorporate this particular thing in the show? It's like, oh, okay, I need to take a break.
Yeah, this is all something very familiar in some way. Mm-hmm. I wanna talk about the CSM work you guys did, because you did a lot of work covering the CSM elections and the candidates. So can you tell us a little bit about that project and like what drove you to do it?
You see a need and you fill a need, you know, and we knew it was going to be a lot of hard work, and we were way underestimated how much work it was going to require. So that went well. Last year, I believe it was about 28, around 30 interviews. This year we did it again. So this year we did about 50 interviews, 7 analysis shows, interviews with Lilo and Falcon, and also interviews with CCP Terra in French in French, because it covered the French candidates. And one candidate actually got interviewed twice, once in English and once in French.
I've heard that you guys are going to be doing more regarding the CSM.
Cap Stable is going to expand a little bit. We're actually be forming a small little podcast network out called Unstable Media Productions. Mm-hmm. And first on top of that is that we will be spinning off a French language variant of our flagship show, Cap Stable. So Cap Stable in Francais.
That's really cool. That's really cool. I look forward to listening to that and not understanding much of it, but you know, it's going to be great for anyone.
It's going to be interesting.
French,
yeah, because we were touching upon this the other day. Is just that, you know, because EVE Online is multicultural, it's not just English.
Yeah.
So we're trying to be kind of a conduit, a go-between between all those different language-speaking communities. So we kind of understand what's going on with the Japanese corps or the Russian corps or the French corps. So get a bigger and more, broader understanding of what's going on in the game. And the more you understand what those different communities are doing, well, that affects our gameplay, of course, because we run into them in space all the time.
The CSM Watch, what is that?
So the other announcement, we'll be launching a second show called CSM Watch, which will be covering the entire gamut of CSM. We'll be doing interviews with the various candidates, and it'll be handling a lot of the analysis shows. So we're spinning that off into its own entity to kind of cover what goes on in the CSM. Because if there's one thing that we did kind of understand and learn from talking to people and interviewing, is that although CSM is very salient in people's minds during the candidacy period and the election, there is no way to find out what they're doing, during that kind of like non-highlight time.
So ongoing in-depth coverage of the CSM and space politics, very good stuff, and interesting times.
And it definitely kind of adds that element. Everyone loves talking about the meta in game. Well, here's a way to kind of cover the meta, and also keep your candidate, make sure they're doing their job.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I'm so happy you came on. Good to have you, and keep doing great work. And we'll see you on the podcast. Welcome back. We have a lot to talk about. There's been a lot going on in space and around lately. And firstly, I'd like to mention the winner of our Twitter contest from yesterday. We asked people to tweet news of the show with the EVE07 hashtag, and that's Gunnar Stahl who won. So congratulations, who wins the biggest Oran package, and congratulations.
Yes.
But cool things have been happening in space lately. Big Miker's PvP video is something that sticks out, something I want to mention. He made a PvP video with nano solo battleships. Pretty crazy stuff.
Nano solo battleships.
Yeah.
And that's Ferocious 5, isn't it?
Yes, that's Ferocious 5.0. That's nano battleships like the Macarial, the Nightmare, and it's really cool for watching range management, overheating management, and a lot of active module management. And it's pretty crazy, fighting gangs of cruisers, frigates, battleships, anything. So check that out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And seeing as this is the current affairs segment, we're going to be talking a little bit about current affairs. And of course, last week, on Tuesday, we had the Mosaic release, which saw a bunch of new stuff go into the game. First off, there were brand new cruiser class burner missions, followed by, of course, the few little tweaks to the T3 destroyers, that's the Sweeple and the Confessor, and of course the addition of the permanent ship skins, which I just wanted to mention at this point, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, then please do, because the Eve Flight Academy YouTube channel has just brought out a shipskins video, and that's the CCP customer support team make a whole bunch of tutorials. So definitely check them out on YouTube and let us know what else you want to know.
Put your skins on and look fly in space.
Exactly. But one other thing that went in, which was made quite a bit of a change, and that was to nullsec mining. Of course, we've bumped up the requirements for manufacturing, but also we've therefore balanced it a little bit with the composition and all the asteroids. Yeah. And as you can see in this graph, the mining yields were pretty static. This goes back to the beginning of December, but a huge spike as soon as those balances went up. We're not quite sure where it's going to balance out. Of course, it teeters down because that was run today, but we'll see how that progresses as we go forward.
Fun to see.
Yes, exactly. So that was what was happening in-game, and now we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening out-game.
So we like the player gatherings. We like to tell you about them because we like to connect people, because people are fun. And
it's why we wear party hats.
Yes, to celebrate. Yes. And the first event we want to talk about is Eve London, which is taking place in London, obviously, on this Saturday. So go to evemeet.net and check out any information you can find about Eve London and be there. CCP Falcon is going to be there, CCP Lilo as well, and about 200 Eve players, so it's going to be a great time.
It's going to be awesome. And followed just after that on July the 4th is, of course, the Glasgow meet, and they're changing the format a little bit this time round, and they're going to have much more involved. I believe they've got some sponsorship from EveBet as well.
Yeah.
And so if you're in the north of England, or definitely if you're in Scotland, then get to that, because that's going to be a lot of fun. And I believe
Lilo and Falcon are also going to be there.
Lilo and Falcon are going to be there too.
All over the UK.
Yes. Yeah, lucky them.
So then we move on to August. So we go across the pond to Eve New England, which has tickets on sale and already selling fast, and it's a great event. It's a very unusual event and special, and it takes place on a farm. So they have like, you pay for your ticket and then you get like all the food included for the 3 days, and you get to party in the party barn and light fires and grill hot dogs and just hang out with Eve players and play games and have fun.
It sounds like a great time.
And we're going to send people there. I'm hoping to go myself, and I'll take someone with me probably if I do, and we'll be there, and we'll hang out with you. Hope we see a lot of you.
Yes, so that's in August, and then of course in September we've got Eve NT, which is Eve in Nottingham, which was very well organised and full of action last year, and so we're hoping that this year is going to be just as good.
It's really good, and it's a fantastic event, and yes, and week after that we're going to have Amsterdam. So only a week after, and that's another big event, packed with content, also going to have lots of devs and lots of players. And we are stepping in as co-organizers this year, because we see this as an event that could grow to a big mainland event. It's already big, but it could be even bigger, and it's going to be good. And since they're only a week apart, these two, we're thinking like, should we go home in the meantime, or should we maybe like, you know, throw some bashes on mainland Europe like while we're there, and just, you know, meet more of you guys. So we'll talk about that later, but...
Exactly. So from September on to October, which is going to be the big one, which is, of course, Eve Vegas.
Yeah.
Which is going to be a lot of fun. Lots and lots of devs, lots and lots of players. I believe the last time we mentioned it on the show, we'd already sold over 400 tickets. How many have we sold now?
We've now sold over 500 tickets, and we're moving into that getting close to sold-out territory. And tickets are selling fast, so there's no need to delay. We sold out last year. We plan to do so again handily this year with lots of people. And we are ready to announce the first 3 devs going.
We are indeed. The first 3 devs that are going to be on the list. We'll let you know a few others later, but that's going to be the executive producer, CCP Seagull, lead game designer, CCP Scarpia, and of course, senior programmer, CCP Nullarbor. And we're also going to have a bunch of player presenters.
Yeah, player presenters have been sending in their suggestions for presentations, and we have a lot of good ones. The first 2 we're ready to announce, and those are Mark726, who's going to be talking about Eve lore, and Lichton Contour, who's going to talk about the recent coup and all the drama around it. So those are going to be interesting. And we'll introduce more player speakers soon.
Definitely. And of course, that brings us to the end of the year. And of course, I can't not mention the Australians. On November the 27th to the 29th, down in Sydney in Australia, is Eve Down Under. And we're very pleased and very excited to announce the devs that are going to be attending that one. And that, I'm very pleased to say, is going to be me, CCP Mimic, CCP Guard, and CCP Cognac. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, please don't laugh too hard at the kangaroo picture. And if you haven't got your tickets yet, then definitely be there. Last year saw people come all the way from Argentina and Japan and all over the place, and we really hope that we get to see you there because it's a lot of fun.
I look forward to trying it out. I'm already practicing my handstands, so.
Yes. Okay, so that's what's happening out of game. Now moving swiftly onwards, but something that we did mention earlier, and that was Eve NT, and we just wanted to let you guys know about a new PvP tournament that the organisers from that are putting together, and that's Eve NT Collides.
Yeah. And they're running the next event on May 17th. Logi Bro is going to be there, and it's going to be streamed on Twitch. And the Tuskers and Test are going to fight it out. So be there and check it out. And the guys who organized it have made a promo video, so we're going to check that out.
Eve NT Collides will be a monthly tournament broadcast live on every first Sunday of the month. Eve NT Collides will be the premier EVE esports program. An absolute must-watch. Big name sponsors and collaborations with the likes of Twitch, CCP and EveBet will provide us with lots of giveaways and prizes for the viewers. Expect expert commentary and post-match analysis from all the big names in EVE. Chesser, Apothony, Bob Shaftos, Gorski Car and more. Come and check out our website and make sure to tune in every first Sunday. Every first Sunday.
Well, that was them, and of course, while we're talking about combat, if you haven't seen it already, a new dev blog just went out announcing Alliance Tournament 13, when that's going to be, and of course, a call for commentators. So if you think you've got what it takes to join us here in Iceland to talk about spaceships and explosions and laser beams and all sorts of things, then definitely send in your submissions. And be sure to show us the best side of you, because competition gets a little bit tough, and we're definitely going to be sure to send the best.
Yeah, of course. So it's going to be great. But from combat to helping each other out. So there's a lot of good people in EVE helping each other out, and the ISD and the volunteer crew, they are opening up a new Twitter account, ISD IC. That's the Interstellar Correspondence Team. And you should definitely follow that, because they're going to be bringing you lots of cool news from EVE Online.
Exactly. So if you want to know what's happening in New Eden, then definitely follow their Twitter account. And talking about helping each other out, we also wanted to point you guys in the direction of the Best of Us community, which is a group of EVE Online players who are military veterans from all around the world, every country that I can think of, no one's excluded. And if you are a military veteran and want to hang out with other military veterans, then get in touch.
Yeah, a good group for support or just hanging out, you know.
Exactly. And also, talking about support, we also wanted to just remind everyone about the Broadcast for Reps movement, which is a movement to help support others when you're feeling low, or you just need someone to talk to, or anything like that. And I believe that the Broadcast for Reps guys are having a roam pretty soon in memory of John Bellicose, and of course they're going to be flying Bellicoses.
Yeah, it's very fitting and awesome initiative.
Exactly. And well, talking about helping all of you and helping us as well.
Sometimes we need a little help, and our good friend, German player by the name of Karl Lauert, recently sent us 5 kilos of candy, which is going to help us get through our daily routines. The spirit of giving is definitely there. The spirit of giving CCP guard diabetes, and I love it, so thanks.
Anyway, the last thing on the segment that we wanted to bring to your attention, which a lot of you are aware of, but we definitely wanted to most importantly say thank you for, and that is the Plex for Good drive, which has been running for about a week now, and it's going to keep running until May the 15th, which is next Friday. And so far we've raised over
$40,000.
Over $40,000, which is going straight to the Icelandic Red Cross for all the work that they're going to be doing for the victims of the earthquake in Nepal. And I believe that last time we had a Plex for Good thing, we beat the Icelandic government's contribution.
Easily, and now we're looking to do it again. So keep those donations coming. Most importantly, though, just to help the people of Nepal who really need the help, and it'll go to good use, every penny we collect.
Exactly.
And
we just wanted to give a shout out to Scott Manley and to Wingspan TT, who've done their own special little drives trying to bump up the publicity of the drive.
And people like Kripa and others who are helping people donate their little bit so they can, you know, pitch in for Plex and get the help where it's needed.
Exactly. For those who can't pitch in a full Plex, then every little bit helps out. So yes, so if you can, please give generously, and very heartfelt thanks from all of us here at CCP. You guys are awesome. Absolutely amazing. So yes, thank you very much.
But that's it for us for now. So we're going to go to the next bit.
Yes. The next thing that we're going to do is, I believe that you had some chats with some hunters.
Yes, some hunters. People who hunt big game. So super capital hunters from the group called Rekkingcrew. And they shared some of their secrets with us. And so let's check that out. Welcome to 07. It's great to have you guys on. Tell us who you are.
Cool, so I'm Rocket X. I'm in Sniggerly in Pandemic Legion, and I'm from a group called Rekkingcrew.
And I'm Quickload, also Sniggerly in PL, and also co-captain of the Rekkingcrew team, I guess, along with Rocket.
Cool. So the Rekkingcrew, quite a fearsome group. I have you guys here because you have a really, what you could call an unusual hobby and a specific way of playing EVE Online. Tell us about what it is that you do.
So we are very much big game hunters. We don't play the game by flying our ships, but watching other people and working out how they fly their ships to then kill them. I think is the easiest way of explaining it. And the ships we kill tend to be quite expensive. So
only super capitals?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, well, that and basically I've always said like anything with a jump drive.
It's pretty ambitious. So hunting super capitals is a game of immense patience. So you must study the game mechanics better than anybody else, maybe, to make sure that your patience pays off.
Yeah, game mechanics are one of the primary things we pay attention to and study, and we've done this throughout our, I guess, in-game careers as super cap hunters. A lot of people kind of ignore them and assume they're there and they just work a certain way, but we try to get into the nitty-gritty of them and see not only how they work by themselves, but how different mechanics interact with others.
So the interesting thing about this, what really got me hooked on your stories is the time that it takes. I mean, what's the longest you've hunted a target?
Probably about 3 years. I mean, we wouldn't watch him every day, but kind of like we find him, work out who he is, hunt him, realize he's not coming back anytime soon, and then like suddenly 2 years later or something, his ults start logging in again, and we're like, hey, he's back, etc. And then go and kill him.
The particular hunt that refers to was a Ragnarok that was logged off for I think a little over 2.5 years, and it was quite a surprise. We had no forewarning, and it kicked. The little bit of forewarning we had was maybe about 2 days before the actual target logged in, but we were ready and we had our information saved, and we recalled that information to make sure that we knew who we were dealing with. Yeah. And in the end, we got it.
You're dealing with players who are quite accomplished themselves, so there must be a lot of mind games involved and psychology to outwit your target. Like anything you can tell us about that?
The mind games are a large part of what we do, and I would say probably 80% of actually bagging the target are these mind games.
Yeah, it's kind of well before the kill, really. Like, I mean, we've said several times that like our game ends when we land first point. Like when we get the guy tackled, you know, you can kill it super easily once it's tackled, but getting it to that point is really difficult. And it's kind of scripting a story where you can fill in the gaps and make a target do something that maybe isn't good for his best interests, and and then pouncing on him when he does. And that's the kind of mind game side of it, I think, that we really kind of have learned to do quite well recently.
Sort of like chess.
In a way, yeah, very much like chess, except that we know the end and he doesn't.
The actual moment when it goes down, you've done your homework, the target is logged in, and you're on your way to get him. What goes through your mind?
I mean, it's a pretty amazing feeling, because you know that kind of you've been waiting for days and days or sometimes weeks, and you know that in the next 50 seconds it's make or break, and it either happens or it doesn't. And from then on, from that point, the target's already in the position where you want them to be.
Yeah.
And then it's down to you not messing up in order to make that kill happen. And we certainly have some tense moments. For example, recently we took down an avatar, and one of the guys that works with us from a corp called Parental Control, we sent him in, and the target avatar signed into system. And he says, he lit, do I light? And I says, no, warp to him, warp to the Sino. And I'm like, tell me when you have a point and then light. And then there's 20 seconds of like the most quiet silence you've ever had. Oh. And it felt like years. And then he's just like, casual as ever, point, Sino up. Okay, cool, everyone jump, you know, like game over. Wow. But it was certainly very, very, very tense when that sort of thing happens.
Good stuff. So one final question. Do you ever feel bad when you kill someone super bad?
I used to, and occasionally when we're talking to a target and we find out that like the guy's just lost his job or something, and he was selling his Titan to pay for his plexes so he could carry on playing Eve while he was looking for a new job, then yeah, you do feel kind of bad. But other than that, like I don't get the feels much anymore. What about you, Quickload?
Well, the one that stands out is the first Titan I ever hunted was an avatar flown by a guy in Test Alliance, and you know, I hunted it, killed it, and then a couple months later, I end up at FanFest, and I'm actually in the basement of the Celtic Cross, and a guy comes up to me and says, "Oh, you're Quickload." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You killed my CEO's Titan, and he's right over there."
Wow.
And so I'm like, wow, okay, well, I'm kind of an outgoing person, so I'll go over and at least say hi, and so I go over to the guy, and his corpmate introduces us, and he's like, "Thank you. I didn't want that thing anymore." And that char that
didn't want that ship anyway, right? Yeah. Wow.
No, but he's like, "I've had more fun with the char outside the Titan than in it."
You know, when you see people in real life and at Eve meets and stuff, then you kind of get to see that like the fact that you're shooting someone doesn't mean that you can't have a drink with them, you can't be friends with them. It's not like that at all. And I think Eve's one of very few games that has that kind of level of community, and it keeps a lot of us here for a lot longer than we thought it would.
Yeah.
Definitely. I would say that's the bulk of why I still play Eve is the people I fly with. You know.
It's been fantastic talking to you about this, and I wish you good hunting in the future.
Hi and welcome back. I'm CCP Mimic, and just before I get into the next interview, I just want to apologize to Zal Amadeus. I wasn't reading my notes properly, and I wanted to give a shout out to them. And he did a PvP roam for 24 hours to raise for Plex for Good. So thank you very much for those efforts, because they're definitely going a long way. And joining me now, of course, as promised earlier, running around and trying to catch all my notes, are CCP Fozzie and CCP Bettik. Hi and welcome. And before we get into this interview, which was going to cover everything that you had in your dev blog, I just wanted to make sure that we're not going to make any announcements like we did the last time you were on the show.
No, we're going to try not to break the market this time.
The last time, this is what happened. If we can bring up the graphs that Lockfox made of the... we're going to show you some bonus missions instead. But... Anyway, we'll show you those graphs later, or I'll send them, I'll tweet them to you. It's quite all right. Anyway.
They basically go like this.
Yes, pretty much.
You can't see, but I'm making shapes with my hands.
There's lines
as usual.
And yes.
Like, this is my normal talking. Yeah.
Fozzie broke the market.
No.
We call it a stimulus package.
Yes, yes. So that's what that means.
Yes. Mineral change you can believe in.
Yeah, exactly. We will deliver the change you believe in.
Okay, well, you guys are both from Team 5.0, and you guys for this summer are working on SOV.
Yes.
And a very interesting blog came out this afternoon, I believe, showing what's happened just in Mosaic and what's coming in Carnix, and then again in Aegis. I think it should be Aegis, but Wikipedia says it's Aegis.
In the proud tradition of Eve names, no two people will agree on how it's pronounced.
Okay, that's great. It's the one with the weird little, the July. So I just wanted to go over a little bit about what started coming out in Mosaic and what's coming next and where this is all going. Because a lot has changed since the first announcement of the designs, and I believe you guys have been taking feedback from a lot of places. And quite a lot's changed since FanFest. So just walk us through a few of the things that have happened.
Yeah. So I mean, we introduced that first dev blog before FanFest, which laid out our plan for the summer changes to nullsec and SOV, and then went into a big period of collecting feedback, talking to people at FanFest, reading the forums, and doing surveys, and it's been extremely valuable. And now we've already made some posts earlier, things that we were going to be putting into Mosaic, changes to the or kind of more details on the Atosis link mechanics. So those aren't new for today. We had already announced them before, but now we announced a lot more. Big changes to the design and also updates to the schedule.
Exactly. And I just wanted to, we'll just walk through a little bit, pretty much in order of what you had in the dev blog. And so I just wanted to start on the Atosis link module. And has that changed? It hasn't really changed drastically, and certainly not the mechanics of how it's going to affect capture. But one thing that you did say in the dev blog is that in June it's going to be affecting the station services.
So we did scoping for this project. And we knew we were being a little bit ambitious. We've got a new UI resources on the team, so we kind of felt we needed to break out of the mold a little bit. So we started scoping the project, and to deliver good flow of information and clarity of the system, we just discovered there was a lot of work that needed to be done. But the plus side is we have the 5-week cycle now, which we're delivering in, and we managed just to scope it down so we could deliver each expansion now, until we feel we're finished, whenever that is. But it's super nice that, like, instead of saying like we're going to delay it by 3 months, we just
or even 6 months,
or 6 months
instead of trying to rush it out,
or rushing it out. We just approached it as like what we were comfortable with releasing in a really good state, like units, and then we add more and more and more units. And I think it's going to turn out really well because I think like this gives us valuable feedback on the UI. We can do tweaks in between, and I think it's really good.
And also just on the capture mechanic itself, because as you said in the blog, affecting station services, although it's going to be a change in the game, it's not as game breaking as capturing a full system or how the new command nodes and everything like that is going to work. So being able to get people used to how it should work and how they should interact with it will probably be helpful to the players as well, learning the tactics that are going to be involved in something that's new like this.
Yeah, it's going to allow players to get used to the mechanic. It's going to allow us to watch what players do and react to it and make changes based on the feedback we get in the live server. It's also going to let us iterate on the UI, because the UI is going to essentially be the same for capturing, making sure we're giving you enough feedback to let you know everything that's going on, make it all very clear.
Okay, and I believe we've got some of the screenshots from the UI that were in the dev blog, but we'll keep on talking and hopefully those will come up on the screen just now. One of the next things that I wanted to talk about, which I thought was really interesting, the changes that you guys have made, is to the activity defense multipliers. And you've now changed it to a factor of 6 rather than just 5 on the grades that it was. And there's quite a few changes that, and also putting a cap on 6, I think is, I mean, for me, I really like that idea. I don't capture SOV on a daily basis, but I like the idea that therefore, depending on the type of activity in the system, I'm guessing that's the reason behind it?
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that people could reach the max level without having to feel like they need to complete every single checkbox. You don't need to be the best at everything. You can specialize in what you want to specialize in. So we upped it from 4 was the old max to 6 now, and now it also is much more important because it connects into the vulnerability window. But this mechanic is really core to what we wanted to do. It's the part of this system that brings in occupancy and active living in your space and getting people out in space and kind of rewarding them strategically. You're already rewarded with money, but we wanted to reward you with stronger control over your space as well. And this is the core of how we get to that, so we wanted to really strengthen it.
Okay.
Also,
and I'm sorry, I'm just going to cut you in there just because we do have it on shot. And this is something that when you enter into a system, it'll show up in the system information so that everybody is aware of what that multiplier is.
Yes.
So if we can show what the overview is for that queue, you can see it. It's the one with the chevrons and it sees a multiple of 6. there on the right, sorry, my right and left. And then, of course, we've got tooltips for everything else that's going to be in the system. So, and I believe this is just mock-ups at the moment?
Yeah, so these are mock-ups. This is UI that's currently work in progress. But we want to make sure that everything is very visible to everyone. So things like the defense multipliers, things like the vulnerability windows of structures, the reinforcement timers, all of those are going to be publicly available to everyone. You can see it just by showing up in the system, but you also don't need to go to the system. You'll be able to look at it through show info on the solar system. You'll be able to look at it through CREST. We want to make that data available to everyone so they can very easily plan and find good ways to fight.
Excellent. Okay, so that's why that's there. And one thing that you mentioned that is new that I was quite surprised to read about, and that was the capital systems. Explain the thinking behind that, or the reason why you've or where did that idea come from?
I think it comes a little bit from the dialogue we've had with the community through FunFest, with the CSM, with feedback. We've been trying to front load our designs earlier because we wanted to have the dialogue with the community, get the feedback and things like that. And like people have pointed out, like where you base might not indicate where you have the most ratting or the most mining. Yeah. So we didn't want to discourage or feel that people had to grind a certain amount just to make your system protective. So I think this is a clever workaround, but I honestly don't think it's a workaround anymore. I think like this is the way to plunk down like your flag and saying this is where we're basing out from. Like you only have one system, and that gives you a little bit of a beachhead or like a castle in that sense.
That's where your fortress is. Everything else is your outposts.
And I think what we intended to do with we didn't really want to force anyone into a certain path of grinding or a minimum amount of grinding. I think like we went with the intention of having this as much free flow or trying to not implement a certain meta on people. Like we'll rather want to see the meta just pop up around them and how people will get defense multipliers. That's going to be interesting. Some people might go for the full mining, considering that mixed or the ratting, or in those cases like where you just want the capital system, you skip everything else and get that.
And that I believe is a +2 bonus at the moment, and then we'll just see how that goes.
And it'll still be limited by the cap, so you won't be able to go to above the cap.
Yeah, so it'll never be 8.
Yeah, and like Bettik said, we wanted to, as much as possible, allow people to just get the benefits from the activity they'd be doing anyways if they're using the space. And this is something that we're going to be continuing to iterate on. We've said before that at the moment our plan for the number one priority for iteration after the announced changes, so after the stuff we're doing in June and July, is going to be doing more iteration on that activity, defense multiplier, incorporate more things into it. Ideally, all the things that you do that involve, especially stuff in space, but that just involve your everyday nullsec activity, as much as possible, that should all feed into it.
So things like setting up fleets or trade or anything else that's not directly adding to your current indexes.
Yeah, we have to be careful, of course, that some stuff is going to be more exploitable than others. So we're working within kind of those limits, but things like PI especially, things like, ideally we'd like to, in probably some small way, incorporate trade and manufacturing, things like reactions in starbases, and just all the general starbase activity. All that kind of stuff is the sort of thing we want to pull into the system.
Because I suppose it does directly affect it. I mean, if you're using the space to do those activities, then it should belong to you, or at least it should be easier to hold on to.
Or it should reflect that your people are doing an effort, they're actually using the system, and that should reflect in what we have. And the interesting thing is what we're doing now with the station services opens up knobs for this later on, because like preventing manufacturing might then lower the indexes and things like that. That's what we really want to explore. But like, it's a little bit complicated. Tasking our players are quite smart, and they'll find loopholes really quickly.
I think that's probably the understatement of the year.
Like
let's bit smart.
A little bit.
They'll figure it out pretty damn soon, I'm sure. And lastly, one of the most interesting and certainly the most heated topics when all of this was first announced is the vulnerability window. And I'm very pleased to see the way that you guys have decided to go with a flexible, I suppose not necessarily flexible, but a varied window depending on on what's happening in the system.
Yeah. So the window size will now shift based on how active you are in the system. So a more active system has a smaller vulnerability window, a less active system has a larger. It will range from 18 hours at the high end to 3 hours at the low end. But then also for actually the flexibility that you just mentioned, we're going to be allowing people to customize each individual structure, give it a different vulnerability window. So if you have a group of people that are in their own time zone away from maybe the bulk of your alliance, you can designate an area that maybe they live in most actively as theirs to defend and set the time zone vulnerability to them. And it means that alliances can essentially set up their vulnerability windows however they want. And you have the option, of course, of just keeping it all in the default if you don't want to bother managing all that, but you also have the option of customizing.
Excellent. Well, this is really, really exciting, and I can't wait for what's happening in Carnix on June the 2nd and Aegis, AS, however you decide to say it, on July the 7th. But we've got to leave it there. Please read the dev blog and any others and all the announcements that are going to be coming up. And from SOV to NullSec, and we're going to go over to the 07 report to let you know what's been happening so far. So take a look at this.
Hello there, space friends. Hendrick Tallardar here with another 07 report. The past few weeks saw a lot of shakeups in EVE, so without further delay, let's get started. We'll first start in the southern region of Catch, where Hero Coalition, held by Lichten Condor and Brave Collective, have been fighting against Pandemic Legion for several weeks. Early into April, the members of Brave Collective's leadership opted to eject Lichten Condor from the executive position for the Alliance due to growing dissent about his capabilities to lead the Alliance. This resulted in a coup d'etat, which saw Malinek Askelis placed into the Alliance's head position. Shortly after Lichten was ejected, Brave and Hero Coalition evacuated the region, which allowed groups like Phoebe Freeport Republic, Against All Authorities, and the Pravi Bloc Coalition members to earn systems of their own within the region. However, after a week of outcries and speculation that this coup wasn't actually for the betterment of the Alliance, Lichten found himself back in the executive position for the Alliance, after committing a near-identical coup against those who tried to overthrow him. In a slight twist of irony, Pandemic Legion also set up their own new player-oriented alliance called Pandemic Horde, and selected the system of Head GP, Brave's former headquarters, as Pandemic Horde's new staging system. Shortly thereafter, Pandemic Legion were hired by the CFC to attack Nulli Secunda, which would allow for a second front to open, diverting N3 Coalition's focus on the regions of Fountain, Delve, and Quarius. To the east, a coalition calling itself Vanguard continued their push into the Legion of XX Death XX control of the regions of Calavella Expanse, Ethereum Reach, the Spire, and the neighboring regions. The Vanguard Coalition comprises itself of Triumvirate, Solar Fleet, the revived Tau Ceti Federation, and Intrepid Crossing. Their fighting has mainly been against the Legion of Death and other members of the Geminate Coalition. After being driven out of their holdings in the southern region of Impasse, Nulli Secunda leadership announced that the Alliance had been hired by the Legion of Death to help fight against the Vanguard Coalition. To the southwest, the CFC's counteroffensive against the N3 invasion of Fountain saw success as N3 member Alliance Northern Coalition removed their claims from the southwest and seemingly announced that they would be abandoning the N3 Coalition and taking up the lifestyle of a nomadic alliance. Northern Coalition's first deployment was to Providence to attack and fight against members of Pravi Bloc. This left the Kadeshi and Darkness as the two main PvP alliances that had been formerly part of the N3 Coalition to fight the CFC in the southwest. The CFC also announced that they would be dropping their claims of the southwestern regions they had just conquered, as well as some shakeups of space they currently hold. It was announced that the CFC had broke a deal with Hero Coalition to transfer control of the Fountain region. Now you may ask, well, what became of the current residents, such as Fatal Ascension, that currently live in Fountain? Well, after several years of existing, it was sadly announced that Fatal Ascension would be shutting down and merging into other member alliances of the CFC. This also came with the announcement that the CFC would be vacating Cloud Ring and compacting itself more in preparation for the June sovereignty changes. To round out these announcements, the CFC also announced that they would be rebranding themselves from the CFC to the Imperium. Certainly, you could say that NullSec was very busy over the past few weeks. However, those living in wormholes also had their time to shine, as they saw a sizable battle very recently. In a Class 6 wormhole called J142528, Laserhawks and Hardknocks Incorporated teamed up to attack a POS owned by the Darkspace Initiative. This large fight was a result of a brewing grudge match between Laserhawks and Darkspace Initiative over the past few weeks. Both sides fielded fleets mostly comprised of Tech 3 cruisers, though there were of course dreadnoughts and carriers involved as well. The battle took several hours, and totaled in at around 230 billion ISK destroyed split between the two armadas. And finally, there were several Titans destroyed over the past few weeks. In the domain region system of Galley, N3 Coalition member Fraternity lost 109 billion ISK Avatar class Titan to a community of EVE players calling themselves the Rekkingcrew. Just a few days later, a 102 billion ISK Avatar-class Titan belonging to the Shadow of Death was also destroyed by the same group in the Dew system located in Derelict. Agony Empire also suffered a Titan loss to the Rekkingcrew when their Erebus-class Titan was destroyed in the Arton system in the Domain region. The value estimated at around 103 billion ISK. Shadow Cartel also earned a Titan kill of their own when they destroyed a 106 billion ISK Ragnarok in the Alichene system located in the Every Shore region. This Titan, however, did not belong to any known alliance at the time. Losechnia Sholopin and some of their allies destroyed a second Ragnarok. The 109 billion ISK ship met its end in the Iridia system of Soliara. A third Titan, not affiliated with any alliance, was also destroyed thanks to Losechnia Sholopin and some of their allies. The Avatar-class Titan, valued at 113 billion ISK, was destroyed in the Genesis region of Kerry. Stain Empire lost to Leviathan thanks to the likes of the Confederation of Pizza, Losechnia Sholopin, and other groups when it was caught in the system of SKR-SP in Quarius. The Titan valued in at around 103 billion ISK. And to close out the kills, Solar Fleet lost an Erebus-class Titan to Losechnia Sholopin and some of their allies in the Marmeha system, which is located in Iridia. The Titan was estimated at 109 billion ISK. I'm Hendrick Tallardar, and this has been the 07 Report.
All right, we are back in the studio after seeing the 07 report, and I am here with CCP Bettik and CCP Fozzie, and of course CCP Mimic, and we're about to go and clean out the system of Kurmonen in Amarspace.
Exactly, and the one piece of advice that I can actually do is, Bettik, please turn off your safety.
There you go. I broadcasted a Plex. You want to let me know when you're ready to warp to it?
I'm next to you. So
Yeah.
Okay. So
you see the broadcast. I'll broadcast it again. You'll broadcast in warp 2. You'll see the little icon beside it.
yeah, the overview is.
Or you can see it in your fleet window. It's the one that's 3.7 AU away from us.
Yeah, all right. Cool. There it is, and we are. You guys are going to a place where people will have to find you.
We're going to a novice plex because we are cowardly and we don't want to get blobbed by big ships.
Okay,
or as many big ships as there is in as there is in Mosaic.
And the viewers can notice that tactically, what 3 seconds left?
Oh look, we're surrounded by people. So let's hand slide right on in here.
All right.
Yep.
Are you going through the gate?
Yep. Hand slide in. They can't catch you.
Ooh, that's like a lot of them actually.
Yeah, it is. There's Chesser.
They must be all the Amarian.
Yeah. The great thing is a bunch of them are in tactical destroyers, so they actually can't get in here.
And Kapku is there.
Chester's here. All right, let's kill Chesser. Primary is Chesser in the Navy Slicer. Chesser in the Navy Slicer. Chesser in the Navy Slicer.
Down with Chesser. Down with Chesser.
Burn Chesser down if you can. I got web and scram on him.
Does he know how to PvP?
Yes, he does. Yeah, and actually, there's a good chance that he's like fit. Oh, and I'm jammed. But I mean, there's a good chance he's brawling fit. But if you can get a web and scram on him, we might take him down if he's like standard fit for Slicer. I'm going to try to. Nope. Already down. Well played, guys. ECM.
CCP Rise is actually right. This is terrible to say this. Like,
got my pot out.
You got out.
Yeah.
You got out. Oh, amazing.
I'm not getting out.
Years and years of low-sec experience right there.
I doubt anyone even had time to
I got my pod out. My ship died.
What? This is a party and I wasn't invited. But everyone else was invited.
Bettik, I have only one advice: kill everybody.
Yes. But like CCP, often
Did you get out with your ship?
Nice.
See? Nimble fingers.
Very nice.
The master at work.
Yes. So I just want to point out that people that were trying to scramble me, you suck.
Yeah, you're in an MWD Kestrel. How did they not keep you in play?
I'm just really good.
Awesome. Well played.
You have smack talk in 07 look.
Yes. Oh, someone's following.
Oh, that's Capcom. He really likes to kill devs.
Is he in the Griffin? Oh, no, he's already run away.
No.
No.
Kill Capcom.
Kill Capcom.
Kill him.
Get him. Scratch Capcom.
Oh, he was nimble.
So here's the problem. We let them know what race we were going to be flying. So they've got just nothing but Caldari jammers.
So I believe,
in hindsight,
honest mid-matter people, role players, will come to my aid now because they believe in like CCP Bettik.
Yeah.
And there's a pot over there. That was almost that. Was that you, Josh?
Yeah, the pot is there.
You should have done it.
So
he's just
he's cheating.
He's
He's jamming and kiting me. This is CCP Rise. He's totally right. This is almost like cheating.
I think he's probably waiting for someone else.
He's just waiting for his friends.
Yes. So,
but it doesn't look like Capco has any friends, which doesn't surprise me, given how violent and
I just want to point.
Don't have friends.
Yeah, exactly. Or they don't have scramblers.
So this is the third roam in a row where Capco has come and jam us in his Griffin.
Eventually, he's going to miss a jam at some point.
So
Yes.
So there's an Aris and.
Yes. So where are my Minmetal brothers? Come here, like.
You've heard the call.
So who are you going to kill first? They're all
true Minmatar.
Yeah. All the tribes are descending to the source.
You are old school Minmatar, right?
I'm old,
when we were listening to when we were listening to Hellmar talk about the lineup in front of the shop, you shared a little story. Why don't you talk a little bit about that while you're jammed? Since there's nothing else you can do.
No. But I believe these people here. Pai Nepal is an honest man.
Yeah.
Be honest. Let's kill the ECM dude.
He scrambled you.
I think he has other plans. I think he has other plans.
No, he's a friend.
I'm here to save you. I'm here to save you. I have now worked for you.
Just distract them.
I'm in a
Fozzie.
pod.
I know.
I will distract them.
And I'm getting.
I know of no valid tactic for anyone in a pod.
No.
Yeah,
this
bumping stuff.
I'll blind them. I'm golden pod, so I can blind them. I'll just like shine the light in their eye.
Look, something's sparkly.
So a lack of Minmatar ships on my OVO.
And nobody dares come close and kill you. This is.
I project an aura of confidence here.
They saw CCP Rise's fate earlier, and they know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just death and
But
destruction.
I just want
This
to
is a
point
quality
out.
fit. Suetonia makes good fits.
Yeah, really good fit. Really good fit by Suetonia, and
so
of course has the CCP Rise stamp of approval on it.
So I just want to point out this jamming friend of mine. Like, if he was a pizza delivery person, like his corporate indicates, he's not delivering the pizza.
Exactly.
How can you deliver pizza when
sitting
you're
in the
like
car
60 kilometers
outside
away?
your house eating the pizza.
Yeah. I even heard a story about a pizza delivery man that was stabbed and still delivered his pizza.
Yeah,
like,
that was dedication.
That is an excellent
dedication.
pizza delivery
And,
guy, yeah.
This man just sits at 40 and jams me. What is that about?
And what is everyone else doing? They're just watching.
They are like trying to chase the blundell, but like they're failing. It's great. See? Pizza. Come on. Give me pizza.
Well, I'm going to tell
Pepperoni.
you that if nobody kills this man in the next couple of minutes, we're just going to have to.
I'm going to go try to bump
let him
Capco with
live.
my pod.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Actually, just that's not bad.
He might break lock.
Yeah.
You
Fozzie?
won't, but you might.
So who set up this?
Did I mention that there are prizes for dev kills?
Yes.
Are they?
Yeah, we'll have a Quaif Vexor skin in the redeeming system for anyone who kills a dev.
Yeah, you have to be final blow though, not just getting a jammer on the target.
blow.
So no
And also-
capsules allowed.
I also want
Oh, did that change anything? Are people coming closer suddenly? Huh.
Yeah, that's just
Interesting.
So if this pizza delivery man would stop jamming me for a second, then we could make stuff happen.
Yeah. We may have exposed the single weakness this faith has.
No, so like
A griffin with all Caldari jammers.
So I just want to point out, I'm a
Kryptonite.
big fan of jamming, and I have argued with CCP Rise that he is in general wrong. But now the pizza delivery man is making me agree with CCP Rise, and that might mean a nerf incoming.
My first PvP ship was full of jammers. My first serious PvP ship.
So by the power of Minmatar, he will not jam me soon. And that's something.
There's drones coming. Someone wants that. Someone wants that Quaif Vexor skin.
So
permanent Quaif Vexor skin.
I just want to point this out. Bye, kids. So you can't fit a scrambler when you're jamming people. Just point it out. So chase me if you can.
All right. So let's see if. So where are you going?
We are going
to the customs office.
Yeah. So
let's see if you get through customs with all that heavy.
I think like I am a lawful human being, and customs will just push me through. So now
Just make a run for Minmatar space.
Yeah, that's true. Straight to Pador. That's where we're going. Pador, that's the Wall Street of Minmatar space.
Take the aggregate.
Yeah. So, and I also want to point out to all my Minmatar friends, if you're, that's not a jammer.
Get him.
That's tattoo though. That's a little bit worse.
Yeah.
But,
Don't worry, I'm in work.
jamming.
I'll distract him. I'll bump him.
Yeah. Make faces into his face.
Remember, there's no reward for killing
I'm
players
actually winning.
except for the reward
I'm
of
winning.
killing.
That's actually quite
pretty
nice.
good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, go.
Wow.
I almost said the M word, but I'm very excited now.
Get it.
And we're gonna pot it straight after that. Come on.
Hear that? Alisa Wisame, you're getting potted.
Yeah, I would align Aiko, yeah. Aiko. Come on, I can do this. You can do this. Josh, make faces. Distract them.
Yeah! We got a kill!
Yeah, I know.
I'm not surprised, by the way. This is perfectly normal for a...
All right, so there's a...
pot going down.
There's a waffle malediction here.
Boom. The life flashes in front of you. Gone. Okay, next. Malediction, that's Amar. We can do that. I just want to point out
I've successfully distracted the malediction because he's shooting me.
And and you're staring. That's actually
this is amazing.
I'm winning.
Pineapple.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Come on.
Wow.
Bring him on. More. This is taking forever. Right, okay. Let's pot him also. That's going to be scrambled. And he jumped out. That's not fair.
Well, he saw what happened to the last guy, so I don't blame him.
Imperial Navy slicer.
That's the guy that killed me, though.
Yes, I will mention.
Yeah. He's beam fit, so just get transversal on him.
No, so someone jammed me. I thought we talked about this, kids.
Now it's looking slightly worse, I think.
No, by the power of Mumatar, I'll get a...
Who is going to get that?
Not jammed, maybe jammed. Please, come on.
So the guy that potted me, he may have made a terrible mistake because I have ships in this station.
I gotta look at that kill report.
Look at that.
That's like
Once Bettik is done, I'm thinking we're going to have to wrap this up.
Yeah. So I just want to prove yet again. Having scrambles, kids, is really good, especially when you're like 10 fighting one dude and he's warping off for the 3rd time. Just want to point this out. Jamming is good.
Yeah.
So I declare myself victory.
I think this is a victory, and we are victorious. You guys didn't get us this time. That's only one skin that's going out this time.
There was a breach of it. Now I'm back in the.
But so we're gonna end this for now. The 07 show has come to an end, and the next show is
Bettik will just keep owning off stream.
Yes. He'll keep owning. You can keep following him in Kurmonen. The next show will be on June 11th. So until then, you can go and fly about in your fancy new shipskins. But remember, there is one ship whose beauty is far from skin deep. And that ship is friendship. Until next time, see ya.